I'm here at Ennis Kimball Park today to work on my Pathfinder skills. Working on shelter building, primitive tools and implements. And it's about 27 degrees out. It's been snowing pretty good for a couple hours now. It's not laying too bad. It's a wet snow. I put on my wool socks today. I was really glad for that. I started out with my cotton ones, and as soon as I got out of the car, I knew I needed some wool. I put them on and immediately felt the difference. So I'm going to get started here, and we're going to head off into my training area and see what kind of things we can find. Because it's so wet out here today, I think the first thing I'm going to look for is tinder. I better get some dry tinder now before everything gets saturated, and that way I'll be able to have a fire later. And if you look right behind me here, I've found the perfect tinder, and that's cattail. The head of the cattail, once it gets dry, it's dry and fluffy and compact. You just break it up and it's fluffy, and makes a perfect perfect tinder to catch that spark to create that coal. So I'm going to go down here and pull off some of these cattail heads, and I'll be able to use them later on to have a nice fire. So here they are right on the edge of this pond right here, and cattail actually has many really useful parts for someone who has to survive in the woods, or even for just wilderness self-reliance. In the springtime, those sharp pointy peaks on the head there, those little points, can be harvested and eaten raw or cooked, and the roots are a wonderful vegetable. They're potato-y like, real starchy like, and they can be cooked also or eaten raw. Also, the stems coming out of the roots can be harvested and cut up and cooked also to eat. But what we're after right now is these cattail heads. Even though these cattails have been growing out here all year, and they've been wet and dry and wet and dry, if you take the head and just twist it and break it open, you'll find that the inside is fluffy and just really, really good to catch an ember in for starting a fire. So I want to take and put these in my bag and keep them dry, and I'll have them for later. Now I'm going to head on up the hill here and see if I can find a good location for my shelter, and see what kind of resources I have to build a temporary shelter. Well, this looks like a really good place. Plenty of downed wood, lots of matted grass that I could use for bedding in a shelter, and this really, really large tree that's down here that I can use to build a lean-to. So I'm going to get started on my shelter now. Sitting here doing nothing, I probably am going to get cold. So you can watch me and see the progress as we go. I really don't need anything big, just big enough to create a microclimate so I can keep my own body heat and core temperature regulated. Just enough for one person, and I can build a little fire right in front of the door. Alright, looks like we're making some progress here. I've got a pretty good structure set up, but what I really need is lots of insulation. If I were going to spend the night here, this little bit of brush that I have stacked up would leak air like a sieve. So I need to just pile on the leaves and grass and get it about arm arm foot deep. And after that, I could build a fire and I'd probably be pretty comfortable tonight. It's coming along pretty good now, but one thing you want to remember tonight when you start your fire is all these tall grasses that I'm using to insulate that shelter would make a wonderful torch. So you want to make sure that you don't put your fire too close to your shelter. You just want to have it close enough where the heat's going to radiate inside and keep you warm. And that way you won't have to worry about one of these catching on fire and burning your shelter down and you in the middle of the night. Also, I found that this grass is a lot more plentiful out here than leaves. So I can grab a handful of grass in about 2 seconds. Whereas the leaves mixed in with the grass and it's blown over, I'm having to scrape and scrape to get leaves. So I'll keep on doing it this way and we'll see what happens. It's coming along really good. This grass, I noticed especially the stuff that's laid down is pulling up a lot easier than the fresh stuff that has green root stem or stems. So this is coming up pretty good. I know if it gets cold tonight, I'm going to need at least another foot all around in this material. So on top of that, I'd probably throw some a little bit more brush on top of it, a little heavier brush, and that would hold all this insulation in place in case the wind started whipping up. Well, my battery's starting to run out here, so I'm going to finish up real quick and head on back up to the other end of the property here and work on some of my other skills. Well, thanks for joining me here today as I work on my Pathfinder Phase 1 certification, and hope you come back and watch me next time as I continue to work towards Phase 1 and Phase 2. Thank you very much.